All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So one player that keeps popping up, right, over and over again when talking about potential trades, last-minute trade ideas, that type of thing, is Marquise Hollywood Brown from the Arizona Cardinals. We look at Arizona right now. They brought in a brand new coaching staff. They're implementing different systems. It's clear that the team wants to reset, start over, if you will. Kyler Murray's hurt. There's still a question mark about who's going to be the starting team's quarterback. They already moved two previous high draft picks for pennies on the dollar. I mean, Josh Jones, tackle, and a 7th-round pick got moved for a 5th-round pick, and then Isaiah Simmons, former top pick in the draft, former first rounder, got dealt for a 7th-round pick. So it's clear Jonathan Gannon, these guys, Arizona is looking at this roster and saying, hey, you know what? We're going to get rid of guys that aren't in the long-term plans of the franchise. We're going to get rid of players that don't want to be here. We don't care where they were drafted. If they don't fit the system, we're going to part ways. That's kind of the message that Arizona is sending, right? At least to me. We look at where they currently stand in the draft. They aren't really projected to be all that great this season. A lot of people are talking about potentially drafting Caleb Williams #1 overall, and on top of that, they have Houston's first-round pick as well. I mean, there is a chance that Arizona could literally have two top 3, two top 5 draft picks in this upcoming class, which is absolutely nuts to think about. But in any case, Arizona, it's like, okay, what's going on for 2023? It's really like building from the ground up. They're on the ground level here, and there's going to be a culture shock. There's going to be new players players that might be mid to late round picks, getting a lot of looks early on, just like the Jets were back with Saleh, right, when he came in the building, transitioning from the Greg Williams 3-4 over to his 4-3. There were mistakes along the way, but I mean, we look at the guys that were out there. I mean, it was all young players. Like, we had late round picks starting and stuff like that. So I think Arizona is pretty much in the same boat. So it begs the question, what's going on with Hollywood Brown? Because much like Isaiah Simmons, much like Josh Jones, he could provide value to another team out there. Brown right now is the best wide receiver on the Cardinals roster. This is a guy who's had a 1,000-yard receiving season back in 2021 with the Ravens, and everybody knows at that point in time how the Ravens offense functioned in the passing game. It wasn't the most effective out there. So looking at Brown's career, understanding that he was a first-round pick, looking at him currently on his contract, it's an expiring deal. It's his rookie deal, right? He's owed $13.1 million. If you're Arizona, and realistically speaking, the Super Bowl, a playoff push, a playoff appearance, winning the division, all that stuff at this point seems out of reach. It does make sense to trade a guy in Hollywood Brown, again, acquire more draft capital, but that's assuming that the Cardinals don't want to keep him around for the long-term build here. Because there is still a chance that this Cardinals team is looking at Marquise Brown saying, okay, you know what? We really like his game. We really like how he fits with what we want to do offensively. We're going to give him a pretty sizable extension. So, of course, there's that chance, but how do the Jets play into it? Do I kind of like the idea of the Jets pursuing Brown? And also, do I think it's realistic? So, first off, I think right now for the New York Jets, because the Jets have the financial flexibility, because Corey Davis retired and we saved that $10.5 million, because Rodgers took the pay cut, Joe Douglas, to me, should be in a position to where acquiring talent at any point, whether it's today, whether it's yesterday, whether it's at the trade deadline, throughout the course of the first half of the season, that should be priority number one, on his list. I think because of the situation that the Jets are in right now, with getting Aaron Rodgers, who's 39 years old, and I think Rich Cimini actually pointed this out earlier on this morning, that the Jets, technically speaking, are the oldest in football, oldest overall team in the game. Now, I do believe that is a bit misleading, just because, we got guys like Dwayne Brown and Aaron Rodgers and Thomas Morstead, like some older players here. It's not really a reflection of the young core, Quinnen, right? Garrett Wilson, Ahmad Gardner, right? The young core that the Jets have, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, AVT, Breece Hall, right? The list goes on. It's just an average of numbers here, but nonetheless, the Jets are still shooting for the Super Bowl this season. We're shooting for the AFC Championship game. In other words, there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of hype, and because of that, in my opinion, Joe Douglas, as the general manager of the football team, needs to be in a position to where, if a guy hits the market, if there's a player that potentially could be on the move and he thinks that he could benefit our team in any way possible, then it's worth a call. That's kind of how I look at it. Now, half of me is like, you know what? We're what, a week away before the season starts. We already have the 53-man roster settled. We have the practice squad settled. All the waiver claims, all that stuff has been done. It's in the books. Okay, so we're focused on Buffalo right now. We're focused on the team we got, and we're just going to move forward. A part of me kind of feels that way, but like that's the internal outlook right now from Douglas in the front office. But then the other side of me is like, this season is not like years past, right? We've actually heard Douglas allude to the fact that, hey, a trade could be coming. In his press conference, he did hint at a trade. Aaron Rodgers has been vocal about continuing to add talent. I mean, think about it, right? When Dalvin Cook first got released from the Vikings, you could list off like 3-4 better fits for Dalvin at the time compared to the Jets. Everybody was talking about Miami. A lot of people were talking about teaming up with his brother in Buffalo. Denver, right? New England kind of came on late to the scene, but the Jets went out and signed Dalvin for a one-year contract. Gave him a pretty sizable deal, even though we were quote-unquote deep at the running back position, right? A nice young stable full of running backs. We still pushed on and acquired more talent. And in the case of Hollywood Brown, I would say right now, wide receivers probably, given the Davis retirement, a bigger need than running back, comparing the two rooms before Dalvin entered, or signed his contract. So it's worth a call. It's worth a call, in my opinion. Is Hollywood Brown a top 5 receiver in football? No, he's not. But I do think Hollywood Brown gives the Jets an element that they don't currently have on the roster, which is a legitimate deep threat, a consistent deep threat who can week after week after week after week get behind defenses, albeit he stays healthy. I think McCole Hardman can do some of the same stuff, but I'm talking, again, week to week, no matter who we're playing defensively. Denver, Philly, Buffalo, like great defenses. I do have faith in Hollywood Brown as, not the primary number one target, but somebody who the defense has to account for, but they can't just zone in and just completely take him out of the game. That mixed with Aaron Rodgers' arm strength, right? Just establishing the run, working off play action. Rodgers, bootlegging it to the outside. Hollywood Brown screaming down the sidelines. Yeah, that could be something a lot of people could get excited for on Sundays. I do think it makes sense. Again, I do think it's worth a call here. And here's the beauty of it. You never know what Arizona's going to say. They can, honestly, that whole Isaiah Simmons trade came out of left field. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, let alone for a 7th round draft pick. A 7th round draft pick. I mean, Josh Jones, I know there's been trade rumors with Josh Jones for a while now, but I mean, to deal Josh Jones and a 7th round pick for a 5th round pick, I mean, man, these guys are not getting traded for all that much at all. Now, I think the big, tipping point or the big question here regarding Brown, you're probably going to have to extend him once he gets into the building. You're probably going to have to give him a contract extension. And from the rumors out there, Brown wants a lot of money. And that's something that Douglas and the front office have to think about when trying to, make a move like this. But I do not think that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be in a position where they're holding him hostage or they're looking at, multiple offers here, like a mid-round pick or something like that. And they're saying, no, we want more. And they're going to go back and forth with multiple teams trying to drive the price up. I don't really feel like Arizona is in that situation. So whether it's before the season, whether it's during the season, whether it's on trade deadline day, I do feel like Marquise Hollywood Brown is going to be moved at some point in time. Again, unless he is the focal point of the Cardinals offense, He loves being there. The Cardinals love having him, and they work out a contract extension. They give him, all the money that he wants, and boom, it's a happy marriage from there. But in the event that the Cardinals are looking at what the Jets offer, or even another team, and they say, man, we're now in another position where we don't have to hand out a big contract. We go out and get another or multiple draft assets, and we're moving an expiring contract. That because I mean, look, these draft picks they're important, right? If you're a young football, think about all the draft picks that we needed to stockpile early on. Like, there's a big emphasis here. You're getting players on cheap rookie deals, 4-year deals. In the case of first round picks, 4 years with that 5th-year option. So I do feel like there is a benefit in both sides. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.